What is up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. I am your host, Jason, as always, and this is where we talk about all the things under the Disney empire in the world of entertainment and such. And we have got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. Star Wars stuff, anticipations for Aladdin, new trailers for Toy Story, a lot of stuff. Y'all are going to have to bear with me a little bit this week, though. I've been under the weather for the past couple of days, so if I can't keep the energy up through this whole thing, that's why. But we're going to roll right into it. I said we got a lot of stuff, and it starts off with Mouse and the Desk Lamp. Mouse and the Desk Lamp is where we talk about all things Disney and Pixar related. And you know what? We got a big thing coming up tonight. I am finally going to see Aladdin, which has been through a roller coaster of marketing over the past however long they've been marketing this thing. And, you know, they had the sets video where they showed all the practical sets. Those looked great. They had the new Speechless video. It's a new song. Actually, it's the only snippet I've heard of this song so far, and we'll get a little more into that in a second on why. But from what I heard in this snippet, I really enjoyed the song, and it left me just wondering where they're going to put it in. That's my thing I always got with musicals. Musicals are so unnatural. It's not like we just bust into song everywhere, so you got to be real delicate on where you put in these new songs and such, or else they really stand out. But I know last week I talked about the Prince Ali clip that came out, and I was talking about how the energy was kind of down on it, and I wasn't really into it. But I mean, I even went as far as comparing it to, you know, Will Smith is singing in it, but instead of getting the normal poppy showman Will Smith rap, it was like getting a gangster rapper like Ice Cube or something to sing, because it was so low energy, like he was over it. Or at least that's how the clip felt. And now I've got to kind of go back on that, because they've released the soundtrack, and I got my hands on the actual soundtrack, and that's what I was saying about Speechless. I've stayed away from the full songs, and I've only really listened to the songs on the soundtrack that we know already. I didn't want to get into the new songs until I got some context around them. That's kind of how I am with soundtracks when it comes to musicals. I like to know the context of the songs before I really hear them for the first time. And so, like I said, I got it, and I listened to only the songs we knew the context of, the songs from the original. And I've got to say, they blew them away. Even the Prince Ali song, I really like. Now, Arabian Nights is like my favorite. Will Smith's interpretation of Arabian Nights, I don't know why this like resonated with me so much, but I loved it. And just going off the soundtrack and the original songs we all know and love, they sound great, y'all. Like, they've really pulled these songs together, added kind of a new twist, but totally stayed true to the original essence of the songs, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how the first reactions have came ever since premiere night for the actual movie. I've heard a lot of great things about this movie. Everybody's saying it's good. They said do not judge it. I actually, like I said, the marketing was kind of a roller coaster for me, but these people who are saying they loved it, they hated the marketing for this movie altogether. So to hear them come out now and lavish on how good it is really has my anticipation level ramped up to where I thought it should have been in the first place. I'm looking really forward to seeing this movie now after hearing all the good things I'm hearing. So, like I said, I'll get out of the theater on that tonight. I will make sure to film my first reaction video, as always. Be looking for that tomorrow. And then throughout the weekend, I'll get into a deeper review once I let it set in, and I'll write that and put it on the site. So, make sure to check that out. I just wanted to get my anticipation levels out and really talk about how I'm feeling going into this. And I'm actually a lot more optimistic than I was in the first. And then, like I said, it kind of roller coastered around to the point where I was just kind of flat on this one. I was like, well, hell, if we even get something good, I'm fine with that. And no, I'm completely ramped back up now. I'm actually very, very excited for this film. I can't wait for this to happen. So that's all I'm going to spend on anticipation. I'm going to do a whole video about it tonight when I walk out of the theater, and we'll get into that tomorrow and let y'all know what I really think, my first thoughts on the way out. So we're going to head into the next piece, and this one's from Pixar. This is Toy Story 4 put out its second official trailer. And I know that second thing sounds weird, because, I mean, we have seen nothing but clip after clip after clip after TV spot after TV spot for this thing. And this second trailer left me in a weird spot because it left me not really knowing after everything we saw, at least. I just don't really know where the narrative of this movie is. Like, is the narrative of this movie going to be the rescue of Forky and her new homemade toy? Or is it going to be, like you see in some of the clips, is it going to be the Woody Bo Peep angle, and Woody and Bo Peep and the lost toys and this and that, and him finding his lost love, or however you want to put that? But this one leans towards the Forky rescue being the main, like, guts of this story. And, I mean, y'all, it looks hilarious. I'm definitely got to give it that. This movie looks funny. Like, there's a scene where Duck and Bunny, Key and Peele, they do a plush rush. Like, that's the name of the scene in the official trailer. It had me almost rolling on the floor laughing. I thought it was great. I loved it. It was hilarious. So, like I said, I think this movie's going to be really funny. I'm still on the fence of whether it's going to resonate with the emotion that the original three had. And now, the Forky rescue, right? The rescue of a lost toy, for me, it kind of seems a little old hat. Seems like we've done this once, twice. We might even done this through all three. I've got to refresh myself on the Toy Stories, but feels like we're always rescuing a toy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is going to be same old, but like I said, it looks hilarious enough to where it's going to be good. I just don't know if that same old hat hovering over it is going to take away from the emotional aspect and the fact of, did we really need a Toy Story 4 when we have a literal perfect trilogy? I mean, what we got, number 1 on Rotten Tomatoes is 100%. Number 2 has got 100% rating. Number 3 drops. It's dropped significantly, 98%. So I mean, come on, y'all. These movies are perfect, if not near perfect. So 4's got a really big set of shoes to fill, and I don't know if just being hilarious is going to fill that. So I can't wait to see how this goes. Like I said, I want to see it. It looks great. I know I'm going to enjoy myself through it. It's just, where's it going to stand against those original 3 classics in the terms of just all-time classics? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to spit on that trailer. Like I said, trailer was really funny. It was a good trailer. I enjoyed the trailer, but it left me with some questions on where are we really at, especially after calling this the second trailer, after seeing, my God, so many clips and special looks, it's not even funny by now. But anyway, like I said, so all I'm going to spin on that. That is everything for the Mouse and Desk Lamp. So we're going to move out of the Mouse and Desk Lamp, and we are going to move into some real quick stuff on the 9 Realms. The 9 Realms, of course, is where we talk about all things Marvel Studios. And in-game, it inched its way past what it was. It's now second place domestic, and it's still creeping its way up for the first all-time worldwide. I doubt it's going to get domestic first place, but I have a feeling it's going to inch its way to worldwide. But anyway, coming out of that, there was a lot of questions on what's going to happen on Disney+. And Falcon and Winter Soldier just announced some really cool things that harks back to Civil War. And it's going to be 6 episodes, right? But they're going to bring back, it's going to see the return of Sharon Carter and Zemo. So Zemo, as you know, was the somewhat antagonist for Civil War. He was the one that kind of pulled all the strings, puppet master, and got it put together. Sharon Carter is I guess, the daughter of Agent Carter, right? So that's kind of weird, because now we've got to wonder if Cap kissed his daughter. But anyway, on a whole nother note, like, this was cool, you know what I'm saying? I really want to see stuff like this tie in. I've been saying since they announced this Falcon and Winter Soldier thing that I hope we see some dynamic of how they were in Civil War, and knowing that we're immediately going to these Civil War characters lets me know that that's exactly what we're going to see. And now Feige has said these Disney Plus shows are going to hold some high resonance in the MCU. So I'm wondering if this is going to be post-in-game or in between. I'm wondering where the time setting is for this, I guess, is what it really comes down to. Actually, and how much does Zemo's knowledge of Winter Soldier play into these 6 episodes? Because, I mean, he knows everything. So I really want to see where all of this goes from here. I want to see Zemo take more steps into becoming the Baron Zemo that we know from the comics. I think he could be a really powerful villain for the future. If they could really start to build on these villains more, this would be a good place to build them. And I think Zemo is a good one to build, because he had, for me at least, he had a really cool presence playing the puppet master that did everything Civil War did. Like I said, that's really cool. That wasn't on the site. I didn't have anything to really say about that on the site because that's all it really is. Sharon Carter and Zemo is going to be in Falcon, and like I said, I kind of figured they'd play something like this. I didn't know they'd go right into it, the Civil Wars, and bring back Zemo and Carter, but I'm glad they're showing that they're really diving into these Disney Plus shows, and they're going to be more than like the afterthought that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Defenders cast stuff was, where it's connected, but it's not really connected. This shows a step of how connected it really is, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's it for that. That was the only thing in the 9 Realms, so we're going to get back out that 9 Realms, and we are going to go into probably the longest thing of today. We're going to go into Eyes on Isley. And why is this going to be the longest thing today? Because this is where we talk about all things Star Wars. And everybody who's anybody is talking about the report in Vanity Fair that Star Wars did with some of the first pictures for Rise of Skywalker. And they're talking about the article and how it gave plot details. I mean, honestly, it didn't give a lot of plot details, to be real honest, and not really like shoot this thing out. It did a whole lot of just background stuff on where we were at and where Star Wars came from, right? And then it did a whole lot of speculating on where we could go from here. But then it threw out some pictures as well, some really cool pictures from the set that I'm going to pop up by me here as I talk about them. These are the ones I picked that hit me the most. And these pictures gave some details to go with it, you know what I'm saying, that actually did go into the plot of Rise of Skywalker. So first we're going to get these two covers out the way. These covers are beautiful. You got a Rey cover and a Kylo cover. They're going to cycle through, and y'all, these are amazing. I would frame these and hang these on my wall. These are some beautiful covers, but in between the covers is what we care about. So we got the first pics after these covers pop up. We got the first pics of the Knights of Ren. And the Knights of Ren, they're described as Kylo Ren's enforcers, right? And we've been talking about these since they debuted in Force Awakens, and they were just kind of a throwaway statement. But we've been wondering where and what are these Knights of Ren. Now, I don't know if this is going to fall in a flashback or if the Knights of Ren are still going to be part of Kylo Ren's like entourage, you know what I'm saying? But they're his enforcers. See, one's got a damn gun attached to his hand. Like, these cats are ready for business. Like, they look pretty badass. And this is the first we've really seen of them. So I think it's really cool they're going to play a part in this. I hope they actually play a part. I'd love to see some flashbacks and really get into the past. But I hope they also play a part in the future. I'd love to see more of these guys than just that. So, like I said, can't wait to see that. After that, we got this first photo of Kerry Russell as Zori Bliss. And she's in the Thieves' Quarter of a planet called Kijimi. And I don't know what to think of this. She's badass. She looks like Rocketeer without the rocket pack to me, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, Boba Fett and Phasma were pretty badass too. And I'm starting to think Rise of Skywalker, she might wind up being their Boba Fett or Phasma. She might be someone we get really excited about, looks like a badass character, but has no point in being there at all. And that troubles me. But, I mean, that's the first pick of her. Like I said, we don't have much to work with. These pictures honestly brought up more speculation than they gave us actual facts about what's going to happen in Rise of Skywalker. So, next pick, we got First Order leaders, General Hux, and Allegiant General Pride on Kylo's destroyer. So, Kylo's officially taken over the destroyer. He is officially recognized as the dude in charge, you know what I'm saying? And supreme leader, I guess. And this is General Hux and Allegiant General Pride. I don't think we've really seen much with Allegiant General Pride. I don't know who this character is all. Like I said, it feels like they're going to dive more into the First Order, and we're going to get more explanation of the First Order, where they came from, how they came about after Operation Cinder. Which, if you don't know what Operation Cinder is, you got to play Battlefront 2, or you got to read what were the books? It was Aftermath and Empire's End, and that trilogy right there that started with Aftermath, right? So read those or play the game. Playing the game's a lot faster, but like I said, it's got it gives you this real cool story of Operation Cinder and what the Emperor did after the fall of the last Death Star and himself. So there's them. You got this other picture with Finn and another newcomer, Janna, riding into battle on Orbax against the mechanized forces of the First Order. Now, I like the way they said mechanized, because that makes me wonder if we're going to see some droid action, like the Trade Federation's droids or something. I mean, I'm expecting a little bit of everything from all of the Star Wars, because this is supposed to tie them all together. And what would do that better than them pulling out a droid army out? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would just be awesome. So they said mechanized forces. I'm probably reading way into that. They call these Orbax they're riding. I like to call them swamp donkeys, because they just remind me of something that would be called a swamp donkey. But anyway, there's them riding those into battle. This is one of my favorite pictures, this next one coming up out of the ones they did. And this is Kylo and Rey battling each other. This is probably my second favorite one out the whole bunch. And they talk about their force connection and maybe bond, quote unquote, will run deeper than revealed in the first place. So we're going to get more into their force connection, and we're going to get more into why they're actually, maybe bonded into each other. So that's kind of cool. We're going to get some completion out of these, it looks like. And I think they set this trilogy up well. I think we should have had more questions than anything coming out the second one. And I think that's what a lot of people didn't like about the second one, was it didn't answer much. It just forlorn the questions. That, and there was a bunch of whiny babies that didn't like what Rian Johnson did with Luke. But come on, y'all. Luke was trained by two people who ran away and become hermits when they failed. Just based on his training, he was going to run away and become a hermit when we failed. But I'm not going to get into that. We're going to go on the next picture. The next picture is Lando, Billy D. Lando, in the Falcon with Poe, Chewie, D-O, and BB-8. Probably can't see D-O. That's that little one-wheeled ad droid for the sake of a droid. At least that's how I feel about him. Till he does something else, that's how I'm going to feel about him. I feel like we just have to add cute droids in this movie to make kids like it or something. I don't know. I'm not sure about this droid. I wasn't that impressed when they pulled him out at Celebration. I was like, whatever. Like, he's definitely not on the level of BB-8 was when I saw him. But I do like this photo. I like seeing him. I like seeing Lando take the Falcon back under his wing. It's like, after seeing the events of Solo and then really playing into how it's his baby, and knowing that his droid L337, knowing what happens with her, and knowing that he's taken he's basically got the Falcon now back under his wing in one form or another. It's just really cool, and I'm wondering if they're going to play on some of that stuff from Solo at all. But this is neat. Honestly though, when I look at this picture, the first thought that comes to my mind is, how the hell did Lando get back up with these guys? Like, was he with the Resistance the whole time? Was Lando doing his own thing? Because like Billy D said, he's a survivor. Everyone's gave him a bunch of crap for the Han Solo stuff in Empire Strikes Back, but like he said, nobody died, did they? So, I really want to see how he gets roped back in with this Resistance, which is basically just getting roped back in with the Rebellion all over again. I can't wait to see how that winds up coming together. So the next picture, can't really spend much time on this, is natives of Pazana, the Aki-Aki. Our first pictures of some aliens. Pazana's another planet we're going to. Seems like we're going to a lot of different planets this time. So I want to say that's the third planet we've mentioned just running through these pictures. And that's not even talking about off-planet places. So that's the Aki-Aki from that planet. They got citizens from Jordan to actually come in and play these characters. I thought that was cool. But this one right here, this is the money shot for me. This is the one that did it all. This is Luke. Luke with R2, and I don't know how to take this picture. I don't know whether it's a shot from the past, because this Luke does look like older Luke. And I notice off top, he's not a Force ghost. And that's him with R2. So he's not a Force ghost, though. Now, this could be post-production. I could just be reading into it, or pre-post, and I could just be reading into it also. But I notice he ain't blue. And that's not Force Ghost Luke. Which makes me wonder if that slim chance in hell that Luke's back. Like, I would love to see this, like, if Luke was back. If he's a Force Ghost, that's cool, too. I just love the fact that Mark Hamill's still a piece of this, and Luke is really going to get an ending. But That's the first thing that hit me from that picture. It's the first one that has kind of a weird background to it and stuff, though, because I don't really know how to take this picture. Like, is it actually from the movie or is it just a production pic? You know what I'm saying? But speaking of endings, they also did say in this article, this will bring an end to the Jedi-Sith conflict we've been years and years and millennia through the making. And so this will be the end of the Jedi and Sith, which is also curious because they didn't just not mention that Snoke and Kylo were Sith. They went out of their way many times to say Snoke and Kylo were not Sith. So this is going to be a big thing that has to do with the Emperor, like you saw in the preview. So this is the Jedi-Sith conflict coming to an end, and I cannot wait to see how we get there. I think this is going to be really cool. Like I said, it left us with more stuff to speculate than anything, so have fun with that for the next Lord knows how many months. But anyway, that is all we're going to spend on Eyes on Isley. That's all the pictures, all the Vanity Fair. So let's take out Eyes on Isley, and let's bring in What the Fox? And What the Fox? What the Fox is where we talk about Fox. All the 20th Century Fox, Fox Searchlight, all that stuff. First thing we got the official trailer for The Art of Racing in the Rain. And y'all, I didn't hear anything about this movie. I never read the novel that it's based on, obviously. But I didn't know what to expect here. When it first started, I thought this was a racing film. And then all of a sudden it turns over to this damn talking dog. And I'm like, what is this? Like, that hit me so far out of left field it wasn't even funny. But apparently it's a film about this racer and his life and his love life and his kids and all of this as told through the eyes of his adopted dog. And it's Milo Ventimiglia. I know I just murdered your name, sorry. Amanda Seyfried. And Kevin Costner voices the dog. If y'all know, I love Kevin Costner. Like, I've been a big Kevin Costner fan for a long time. So while this looks just adorable by the end of the trailer, it looks really cute. Usually try to stay away from dog movies because ever since Old Yeller and everything else, I mean Marley and Me, who had a hand in this, you know what's going to happen to the dog in the end of these movies. It's just always what happens. So I'm kind of expecting it going in. But anyway, this looks adorable, even though I feel like it is the strangest name ever. And if it wasn't based on a best-selling novel, I even said when I wrote about it, I want to be a fly on the wall when they pitched this. Hell, I want to be a fly on the wall when they pitched the novel, just to be like, so, The Art of Racing in the Rain. How you're really going to get into racing and this and that? You go, oh, no. Tell someone's life story through the eyes of a dog. What? So, I mean, total left field for me on that one. I was not expecting that. But, all in all, it does look really good. I got to give it that. It looks like a really good film. And speaking of really good films, another trailer came out, and I almost skipped this one. This was the international trailer for Stuber, and this other horribly named movie, because it's like an inside joke where you got to know what the movie's about to understand what the hell Stuber even means. I have a feeling, and this is just based on these two trailers, this is going to be the funniest movie this year. Like, you get with Stu's boring life as an Uber driver in the beginning of this trailer, and even it's hilarious. Like, so, like the guy ordering his meal, and he's like, a burger, or lettuce, or pickles. He's like, is that it? He goes, a little sprinkle of cocaine. And he's like, what they don't have cocaine here. Oh, come on, just a little. Dude, it's comedic gold. Like, the timing of this guy, Nangini, I love this guy. And then you get into Batista, and he's got his eyes dilated, so he needs to get an Uber. He comes on the market as this really badass cop. He's following this guy. He's jumping from balcony to balcony. He throws over what I thought was a stretcher at first, but I guess it's like one of those carts you bring meals on at hotels or something. He goes, I got him. He throws the damn stretcher. Guy hits the damn floor. So this guy's like uber violence. It's like an 80s cop in a movie, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's all about the violence. So, and he winds up with this total peaceful, just Uber driver, like 5-star Uber driver. And I could not get enough of these trailers. Like I said, I thought this was just going to be the same stuff, which Granted, it has a bunch of the same scenes, but even the stuff they added in new is just hilarious. And the going back and forth between these two guys was great. You could tell they really developed on something together, because they play back and forth on each other just amazingly in both these trailers. So that's one to look for. I cannot wait for Stuber. I just keep getting more and more pumped. Like I said, I have a feeling this is going to wind up being the funniest movie of the year. But that takes us out of What the Fox. And as we go out of What the Fox, we have one more category to go into. We're going to go into the e-ticket. And the e-ticket, it's where we talk about park stuff, just really big park stuff usually. So this is all for Tokyo Disney Sea's 8th port opening. And the groundbreaking had begun, so they went ahead and revealed the name. And the name is Fantasy Springs. And beautiful concept art. I'm going to roll through here. It's got day and night. You'll see it. They're right by each other. You can tell. And it's really cool because it looks like the nighttime photos have like this Pandora glow to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just really, really cool. And I was just blown away by how beautiful this land looks. Like, if it's anything like the concept art, this 8th port is going to be amazing. And they went ahead into the 3 lands that's going to really center around. You're going to have a land for Frozen, you're going to have a land for Tangled, and you're going to have a land for Peter Pan. So we put all those up right by each other. And let's see, the Frozen will have an attraction. It's a boat attraction that celebrates Elsa and Anna's friendship. It sounds kind of like the Epcot attraction. I wouldn't doubt it if it's close to the same. But it's probably going to be a little better even, because they don't have to use a track that's already made like they did when repurposing the Maelstrom. So I'm expecting it to be close, but not exact. And then they're going to have a restaurant in Arendelle Castle where you get to eat in the beautiful castle, and that's going to be just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Especially for people who are really into Frozen. And then they're going to have a Tangled land where you'll see Tangled's Tower and all that. There's a boat attraction for the best day ever that's going to float underneath the lanterns and whatnot in the sky. That's going to be really cool. Then they're going to have a restaurant there too, and it's going to have the hideout, like the Thugs hideout from the I Have a Dream scene in Tangled, and that's what it's going to be totally themed after. My daughter would go nuts. She's a Tangled freak. So like, I love this stuff about Tokyo and Tokyo Disney Sea coming up, because I've never been, and it just gives me more of a reason to hold off going so I can actually stack some funds and one day get to go to this thing. But they're all Peter Pan Land, like I said. It's going to have a couple attractions. This one sounds like it starts off as a boat where you're with the Lost Boys. You get sprinkled with some pixie dust and the boat lifts off, and there's going to be like 3D characters and stuff, and you're going to fly over the hook battle. Sounds a lot like our Peter Pan ride, just like I said, souped up a little. I have a feeling they're going to soup up all these a little bit, because that's just what they do. I mean, then they're going to have another attraction there that's going to be Pixie Hollow. And it's going to be you're shrunk down to a fairy. You're going to be able to go through Pixie Hollow. I'm going to think this is going to be kind of like the old Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type thing, or a Bug's Life thing, where you're just a big person in a little world, you know what I'm saying? So that'll be neat, especially for the kids. And then there's going to be a restaurant there too. So 3 new restaurants amongst this whole place. And it's going to be themed after the Lost Boys hideout, which that'll be fun. It's kind of weird. They're making so many cool restaurants, you almost just want to walk through them more than eat at all of them, just so you don't have to settle at one. But they're also going to have a Disney hotel there. It's going to be the biggest one they got, luxurious as hell. It's going to be facing the park, so you're going to be able to see the park throughout the windows, which to me, that's awesome. I don't think there's any around here that do that. I think that's really cool. So there'll be a restaurant, store, all that good stuff in the hotel. Supposed to be the nicest one Disney has at Tokyo Disney Sea. And I think this is going to be really, really cool when it comes down to it. Like I said, the art, absolutely stunning. So that's something to look for. I can't wait to hear more about this. I actually can't wait to see the actual finished product versus the concept arts. I mean, you know, sometimes you lose a little or gain a little in between. I can't wait to see where that goes from there. But anyway, that's all we're going to spend on that. Galaxy's Edge had its cast opening, so I saw a lot of cool stuff from there. I didn't really take down any pictures or notes, but if you go on Instagram, follow some cast members, hit Galaxy's Edge. They're opening at the end of the month in California, so their first run will happen then. I've still got to wait till the end of August to go to mine. But hey, that's one more thing from the parks that I cannot wait to see. But like I said, I don't have too much information on it. I didn't have any real pictures myself or anything like that. So we're just going to fold right out of e-ticket. And that is it for the show today. Thank you for bearing with the low energy that I came with. Like I said, feeling a little down in the dumps. I'm hoping Aladdin will get me out of that. But as always, shoot us some emails, snipes-n-snarfblatts@gmail.com. Love to hear from y'all, whether it's on social network or via email. Let us know if we missed anything. Let us know your thoughts on things. Ask us some questions. I'll put them up on the show. Anything like that. We're always down for that. If you want to see parts of Disney World you've never seen, let me know. I'll go check them out. I'll put them on video. We'll even make that part of the show if you want to. So, like I said, hit the email address. Go down there in the descriptions. Subscribe. Hit the bell. But in the description, I've got a link to the website. But more importantly, I've got a link to us on Facebook, a link to us on Twitter, a link to us on Instagram, and a link to us on Pinterest. You follow us on those things, and you will be able to keep up with the day-to-day conversation. Like I said, Instagram, I say this all the time, I put up food reviews from the park, amazing pictures of the park that I find here and there. I've been doing the flower and garden, took a couple days off because, like I said, I'm under the weather a little bit. Flower and garden's almost wrapping up, so I'm going to divulge into more of the park stuff. I've got plenty of pictures saved up. I've even tried some more foods around the parks to throw in there to keep the food reviews going. So definitely follow us on all those. Subscribe and hit the bell to the YouTube channel because we gather here every week. And then, like I said, tomorrow be on the lookout because my first thoughts of Aladdin is going to come out. And then you'll really want to follow us on Facebook or Twitter so you can get the notification whenever my written goes out where I talk a lot more in depth on how I feel. No spoilers as always. I don't do spoilers. I'm not really into that. I'd rather tell you if I like the movie and whether I think you should go see it or not than everything about the movie shot for shot. That's your decision. You can watch that yourself. I don't want to spoil anything. But anyway, like I said, that is it for the show. I always sign off with a Walt Disney quote. So I'm going to sign off with a Walt Disney quote yet again this time. And that quote is, everyone falls down. Getting back up is how you learn to walk.